Hi, it's Sarah with Designs by Sarah J. I'm back again this month to talk to you a little bit about basting your quilt. So one of the reasons I really wanted to get a long arm and why I love the continuum frame was the ability to have the 3 rails and the optional 4th rail that I'm going to add at some point, which would make basting so much simpler. You know, I always hated trying to find a surface in my home that was large enough to lay out all the layers of a quilt and then decide whether I was going to baste by hand or use safety pins. And this system makes basting so much easier. I'm not going to dread it anymore. So the first thing that I discovered is you definitely want to look at getting the Start Right Precision cloth leaders for your frame. A couple of things about these. They come adjustable to the entire length of the frame. So if you've set up for long, you definitely can get that set. You can also get them all the way up to this 112-inch length, which would work great if you've got your frame fully extended. They are marked with a lot of alignment lines. So down the road, when I am really wanting to do some very precise work like grid work, then I've got things here that can help me get my quilt lined up exactly so everything's nice and straight. For right now, I'm doing a lot of freeform work, so I'm less worried about the precision, but I know that's going to be important to me down the road. They also are attached with Velcro. So basically you attach a Velcro strip to your rail and then you attach the leader. And you might not think that's super important, but think about this. I love to make really large quilts. And so I know that's going to take some time to quilt. But along the way I might have a gift project that I need to get quilted. So with the Velcro leader, if I have 2 sets of them, I can actually remove the large quilt when I'm at a good point to pause, put on a smaller quilt, get that quilted, and then come back and do my large quilt. So the Velcro feature was super appealing to me. Now in terms of attaching a quilt to your leaders, first of all, you're going to make sure everything's pressed and nice and straight, and then you're going to first attach your backing. Now I've just got a practice piece on here today, but my backing fabric was this green solid, and I found out that the secret weapon for attaching it is really these flower pins. This brand is from Clover. They're available from a lot of different manufacturers, but they have a super long shaft and then they have that flat flower head. So they're going to lay snug against the cloth, and when I start rolling the rail here, they're not going to create any bobbles or bubbles in the process. Now to attach the backing to this back rail, I actually pinned a lot. And I know sometimes it can be appealing to try to hurry and just put in a few pins, but I feel with this process you're going to want to pin really end to end. So have the start of your next pin start just where the tip of the last pin is. So I pinned all the way across so that the backing was nice and secure, and I pinned it both to this rail in the back and then the front rail. And I went ahead and rolled everything onto the front rail in terms of the backing. Now here's the next really cool part. I mentioned that I hated basting. And so I discovered these clips that Grace has available, and they make the process so simple. So first I started with my batting, and I laid my batting on top of the backing just about even with the cloth leader. I just laid it on there and smoothed it out. And then I laid my top on top of that, about 1 inch down, so I could see about 1 inch of the batting. I hope you can see that here. I then smoothed everything forward, and rather than pin the batting or the top to anything, you can see it's just tucked through the top rail and the bottom rail. And so I pushed that through, I smoothed everything out, and then I took the clip and I just attached it. It just pops on like that, and the set has several, so you could, if you were working on a large project, you could get it all the way across. But I attached that, and then here, watch this. They turn on the rail so they can adjust the tension. If you found that your quilting works better with a little looser top, you can turn them inward. If you turn them out, that's going to tighten the tension. And so I would quilt this whole pass of the top into whatever design I wanted, and then when I was ready to move, they just pop right off. I would roll my frame rail back here, to move all the layers back, and then I'd have a new area to quilt, and I just attach the clips again. So these really are a magic weapon to me. I didn't have to do all the pinning or basting of the other layers, and I've just let the batting and the top hang through that bottom rail and the top rail and kind of kick them out of the way. So they're just there, they're getting, you know, batting can sometimes be a kind of folded up and crinkled, so it's also getting to relax a little more while it waits for me to get to it. But definitely invest in the quilt clips and the precision cloth leaders if you've got one of these frames, because it's going to make your basting process so much simpler. So that's it for today. I'll be back soon to talk about some other tips and tricks so we can get started quilting. Be sure to contact me on social media or follow along on the Grace Quilting Facebook page if you have questions. We're here to help you out. We want to make your journey fearless and lots of fun.